Later, we learned that Joseph's mistress was a woman who'd once had an unrequited crush on Jackie. Nigga, what? Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube, and for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about LaToya Jackson's LaToya Jackson. Despite slumping record sales, the Jackson 5 remained a top concert draw around the world, touring the United States, Japan, and Australia through 1973. Tito's first baby was due towards the tour's end, but Joseph wouldn't let him fly home to be with his wife. Remember, she had said earlier in the book that Joseph was not present for any of his children's birth. And I was like, he might be a DDMF, but I don't think he's that much of a DDMF. And then one of my commenters pointed out that in the movie American Dream, Joseph was not present for Michael Jackson's birth. So I'm inclined to believe that Joseph said no. Even though Tito is a grown man, but he's not his own man. He is basically owned by his father. His father possesses him, as I believe he does all his children with Catherine. Dig that. So I took my brother's place at her Lamaze childbirth preparation classes. The guys were in Europe when Dee Dee's labor started. I coached her during the delivery, helping adorable Toriano Adele II into the world. I love all my nieces and nephews, but Taj, as he's nicknamed, has a special place in my heart. By the way, y'all, Tito got a song, y'all. I cannot think of the song. It came out last year. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm gonna put the name of the song down in the captions. I want you guys to check it out. It's pretty good. The month after Taj's birth, Jermaine and Hazel's wedding invitations went out. The two had fallen in love almost at first sight in 1969. From then on, Hazel wrote him devotedly. About twice a week, back in Indiana, Joseph used to sort through the mail and yell upstairs in a singing voice, "Oh, Jermaine, looks like you got another letter from that Gordy girl." After we moved to California, where Hazel lived, she and Jermaine resumed their romance. I think my parents were relieved he was marrying Hazel because she was from a good family. They always worried that the brothers would wind up with girls who wanted their money. It's safe to assume that Berry Gordy had the same fears of gigolos going after his only daughter. Once Jermaine returned, Hazel... Wait a minute. Oh, he ain't counting Rhonda. Okay. Once Jermaine returned, Hazel's father, Berry Gordy, promoted the relationship aggressively, practically nudging them down the aisle. On December 15th, 1973, Berry threw Hazel and Jermaine one of the most extravagant weddings in Hollywood history. Though it was balmy outside, the affair had a winter theme, complete with fake snow white camellias, live doves, and a towering 8-layer wedding cake. Hazel looked stunning in a mink and pearl-trimmed white satin gown, while Jermaine wore a sequin-trimmed white tuxedo. Oh, I bet you that thing was beautiful. Marvin and Anna Gordy's son, Marvin Jr., was the ring bearer. Marlon stood as Jermaine's best man. I was a bridesmaid, and the other brothers were ushers. Smokey Robinson sang a song he composed especially for the couple. Among the 600 invited guests were Los Angeles Mayor Tom Bradley and his wife, Diana Ross and her husband, Bob Silverstein, Billy D. Williams, Diane Carroll, Coretta Scott King, and Nick Ashford and Valerie Simpson. It was a dream wedding touted in the press as the merging of two great black showbiz dynasties. Some fans had reacted adversely when Tito married Dee Dee, but this was nothing compared to the flack Jermaine took for giving up bachelorhood. You know why? Because that is a Sagittarius. That's because that Jermaine is something special. Now, not now, okay? Not with that Cool Whip on his head, okay? But back in the day, that Jermaine, even though he wasn't like the most attractive one, it was just something about his stature that just was incredible. Motown exploited his sex appeal from the start, having Jermaine pose shirtless for photos, giving him the romantic ballads to sing, and keeping his and Hazel's romance a secret. Thousands of girls were crushed to learn he'd spurned their affection. In 1974, the Jackson 5 put out Dancing Machine. Dancing, 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 dun, dun, dun. It's a dancing machine, oh baby. Ooh, wee baby. In 1974, the Jackson 5 put out Dancing Machine, which heralded a new, more mature direction and revealed that Michael's voice had deepened appreciably into a soulful tenor, driven by a funky electric keyboard and a bubbling undercurrent of bass and percussion. It was to be their last top 10 single for nearly 3 years. Immediately after the record release, my brother flew to the Republic of Senegal for a special performance. They'd never been to Africa before and were inspired by the people and the sights there. However, the trip was memorable for another reason. Joseph herded the 6 of them into a room and said, beaming, "I have something to tell you. You have a new little sister." "What are you talking about? What the hell you talking about, Joseph? What you talking about? Mommy ain't had no babies." "No, but I have a new daughter," he continued, "born right around the same time as Tito's. Her name is Anna, not her real name. And No, but I have a daughter. No, but I have a daughter," he continued, "born right around the same time as Tito's. Her name is Anna, not her real name, and she's about 6 months old." Our father had a second family. We'd always suspected he ran around on Mother. All those unexplained late nights out, but never this. The guys were understandably sickened, but amazingly, Joseph acted as if this were perfectly normal, acceptable behavior. If he'd had some cigars, he would have passed them out. The minute my brothers returned home, they told me about our father's shameful confession. "He got another family, LaToya, with some woman." "I hate him," one of the guys hissed. Jermaine asked, "Should we tell Mother?" "Are you crazy?" said Michael. "We can't tell her this. She can never know." "It would kill her," I added, wondering aloud. "Why does he do things like this?" "I don't know, but you should have seen him, LaToya. So proud, like we should be happy for him." Michael was filled with loathing. It made me sick. Teeth clenched, Jermaine spat angrily. "To be proud of that? And he's not even proud of us?" Tears welled in Michael's eyes. Pause. Okay, I've read several articles and seen several videos that says that the dynamic that he had with Catherine's children was far different than the dynamic that he had with this girl. Okay, and let me say this, okay? Sometimes, well, no, let me give you a little quick synopsis, okay? So I had reacquainted myself with an old friend from around Clifton Terrace, right? And I had told him that I used to mess with this dude from around Clifton Terrace. And then the dude asked me, he said, "Man, can I ask you a question, Nay?" I said, "Sure, baby, go for it." He said, "Man, did I ever beat you?" I said, "Fuck no, that nigga ain't never beat me. You crazy?" He that because he had knew his whole life, okay? He also knew as baby mother his whole life. Okay? And their relationship was very volatile. It was to the point where, it was sickening abusive. So he thought in his mind that the dude was abusive to me too. Fuck no. I don't play that bullshit. So you have to understand that just because a man is one way with you, it does not mean that he's going to be the same way with somebody else. I believe the reason why he treated the other girl differently is because the mother wasn't standing for that BS. Catherine, on the other hand, she, sometimes when people that are super religious be so far into their religion, like the DeBarge's mom, that they are so unaware or so oblivious or so blinded to what is happening. For months, we kept Joseph's secret from our mother. It pained us bitterly to know he was deceiving her, staying out nights with his second family. My father was so blatant that eventually people in his office and at Motown knew what was going on. Finally, one of the brothers couldn't take it anymore and blurted the truth to mother. I think subconsciously, some of us believed, even hoped, that if she knew this about her husband, she'd divorce him. Of course, mother felt utterly humiliated, and when Joseph refused to end the affair, she was purple with anger. Yet she issued no threats, no overtures of divorce. Her way of dealing with his philandering was to deny that anything was wrong inside our home. And incredibly, life went on as before. When I was very young, I interpreted this ability of hers as a weakness, a way to avoid confrontation and responsibility. Rather than direct her justified anger at the true source, she obsessed about Joseph's illegitimate daughter and spoke of her with uncharacteristic meanness. That bastard child, she muttered once, her voice choked with rage. You're never to speak to her. Do you understand me? Never. Mother, she's not a bastard, Michael said softly. Look it up in a dictionary. She is. But she can't help it, I said. She didn't ask to be brought into this world. Maybe one day we would look to meet her, talk to her. I don't mean be close to her, but isn't it wrong to hate her like that? Later, we learned that Joseph's mistress was a woman who'd once had an unrequited crush on Jackie. Nigga, what? What? Remember before we was talking about how, what's his name, Papa Joe would take them girls into the room while the Jackson 5 sleep to look at them and then be like, yeah, I told you I was there, Pappy. Now come on in the next room with me so we can do 3 for some. This is the bullshit that I'm talking about right here. This is the sickness right here. How you want a girl that wanted your son? And remember this. Joe got a problem with Jackie. He's always humiliating Jackie, smacking him in the face, talking to him like he ain't shiz, making him feel bad for everything. Later we learned that Joseph's mistress was a woman who'd once had an unrequited crush on Jackie. For a while, she and Anna lived miles away, but I guess Joseph got tired of commuting, so he set them up in their own home just minutes from Havenworth. Damn. Didn't Wendy Williams' husband do that? Shopping in a local mall with their children, some of my brothers spotted Joseph holding hands with his girlfriend and daughter. Mortified, and to avoid hearing the innocent question, what's Grandpa doing with that lady and little girl? They distracted their kids and quickly ducked into a store. Most of my siblings refused to have anything to do with Anna. Remember, Anna is not the little girl's name. She's just using the name to protect her, I guess, at that time. But Michael and I were curious about her. We often wondered aloud to each other, what do you think she looks like? Though my father never said it outright, I always suspected that he wanted us to get to know his other daughter. It became increasingly clear that Joseph considered Anna and her mother his real family. That's because he ain't had no respect for Catherine. Why? because you allow me to beat your children like this. Around the same time, my father started his second family. He created a second Jackson family act that included the 6 guys, Janet and me. With the hits not coming as consistently as before, he felt the brothers should branch out into playing Las Vegas showrooms. No one was exactly thrilled about that because back then you had to tailor your act to Vegas standards, singing only your more popular songs and fewer of them, and adding more dancing, middle of the road standards, and between song and pad. It bordered on corny, but we were a family, and this was, after all, a family act. I love Las Vegas shows. I'm highly entertained. To me, it's always like watching the circus as a child. As it turned out, appearing with my brothers and my sister Janet as the Jacksons was so much fun. One of the happiest times of my life. There's really nothing like a family working together. On stage, the blare of the music is so loud you can hold entire conversations out of microphone range, and the audience can't hear you. During one of the tap dancing numbers, some of the guys clapped and shouted encouragement. "Yeah, get it! Great!" While Jermaine and Marlon, the 2 jokers, offered running commentary. Look at Tito. He can't even do the move right. "Hey you, crazy you, stupid idiots. You're out there tapping for these people. Look at you." Performers are supposed to smile on stage, but with us, it was usually because we were about to burst out laughing. I bet you that was so much fun for them. Randy and Janet parodied famous duos like Nelson Eddy and Jeanette McDonald, Sonny and Cher, and Mickey and Sylvia. At home, the 2 of them argued about anything and everything, and it was no different on the road. They squabbled before shows, after shows, and even between songs, turning their backs on their audience and fussing and tugging at each other's costumes. The crowd usually assumed this was part of the act and laughed all the more loudly. We know this is true because whenever Janet Jackson do an Instagram with Randy in the background, I swear them 2 be getting into it. It'd be hilarious. She'd be like this, "Shut up, Randy. Shut up. Nobody asked you." It's just cute and fun to see the pander between Janet and Randy, even at this age. While we were in Las Vegas, Randy developed a facial tic, and Mother wanted him to see a doctor. Everyone we spoke to recommended one of Elvis Presley's personal physicians. We weren't aware of their reputations for overprescribing drugs.
How you